Oh my goodness. Sorry to be a minute late or so. My hello, happy new year. Sorry to be a minute late or so. The mailman was here and had cause to come up to the door and bring a package. So my dogs were going ballistic. So nobody wants to have a live session when the dogs are going ballistic. So there's one now. If you haven't met Toby. Um, so, uh, welcome. Happy New Year. And I hope you had a healthy, happy, safe New Year. And I hope that you are welcoming the new year with hope and with, I want to say patience. I keep coming back to this word. I think that in the time of the pandemic when it first started, and I see already England going back into lockdown, and other countries may follow, probably not the United States because we're currently led by an idiot, but that's a whole other conversation. The word that kept coming to me over and over in the time of the pandemic was patience, because the pandemic was teaching us to slow down. The pandemic was trying to get us to slow down, to trying to get us to breathe with a mask on, right? Stay home, take a breath, be in your space. There's something about the whole pandemic quarantine that reminds us to cocoon, that reminds us to hold close the ones that are important to us, that reminds us to take things slower, because I don't know if you remember, but when the pandemic first started, it just seemed like, thank you, Victoria. I know I saw that. Woo! When the pandemic first started, we were everything took longer. It took longer to go to the grocery store because only so many people could be in the store at a time. It took longer to go to, get a person on the phone. Dear God, to get a person on the phone when you were, banking or, whatever, trying to get a person on the phone. It was like, huh. So I want to say that one of the big lessons that we had in the very beginning of the pandemic was just to breathe and to be patient, because everything was just going to take longer. We've seen that message continue. We've seen that with the shipping, with the problems with the United States Postal Service. We've seen that with issues with just everything. So there were so many people as we came to the new year that were like, yeah, F this year, where I'm out, welcome 2021, come on, let's go. And people were ready to jump into 2021 like they were jumping off the high dive board. And there's not anything wrong with that. But the message that I continue to receive, sorry, my kid, I stepped in something and he's walking like this. Sorry. The message I continue to receive is that it's important that we don't turn around and say F you to 2021, because there were blessings in it. And I love the story. If you were, I couldn't put it on Instagram, it was too long, but if you look on my Facebook page today, I posted this story. I just finished reading this wonderful book my husband got me for Christmas. It's called The Dalai Lama's Cat. And in that, the Thich Nhat Hanh relates a story to His Holiness the Dalai Lama about how these things that seem like tragedies are blessings to us if we can give the universe a minute to show it to us. And I love this story. And so I put it on my Facebook page. If you're not on my Facebook page, my Instagram friends, please consider coming over to the Facebook page so you can see it. Instagram apparently has a limit on how many characters, and it was just too long. But it was just a reminder of how these things that are our burdens can seem like tragedies can be really big blessings to us. And maybe you've met somebody who had a cancer diagnosis and will tell you it was like the best thing that ever happened to them, totally changed their life. I'm not a huge fan of, I don't know anybody that's a fan of cancer, but so we have these people who were just diving into 2021 full speed ahead. And I want to just continue to remind you that that the universe is counseling patience. We had the Great Conjunction, we had the full moon. It came right at the very end of the year when we are, coming to that time of releasing, right? The full moon reminds us to release. And it comes to that time and it gives us the opportunity to say, okay, take off the outfit of 2020 and we're going to allow, instead of putting on the flashy, tracksuit or flashy newer yoga pants of 2021 or whatever it is, allow that to unfold for you. Allow for that to be brought to you. And so the thing I keep coming back to is patience. And people are like, oh, I'm going to, do this in 21. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm like, New Year's resolutions are great, but allow for the unfoldment of where you are going to go next, what is going to be brought to you next, what is going to be unfolding for you next. Allow for those things to develop, because if we are looking back and we are saying, screw you 2020, and I get it, there are a lot of reasons, truly, like more than 1 year should ever be allowed to have, a lot of reasons, but if we are saying that, then we are affirming the lack and the struggle and the structure of 2020. And so when we can embrace those things of, remember the story with the horse poo and the pony, right? There's got to be a pony in there somewhere. And so if we can embrace the horse poo, that knowing that there's got to be a pony, then we can move into 2021 without having to have a big old, tip off to, 2020. And not affirm that in our energy. And we can move into 2021 and allow this newness to unfold. Because let's be real, the whole thing about 2020 was all about transition. And you were either going to be on board with that and allow the universe to do that, or you were going to resist that, like so many people were, and fight against it with every fiber of your being. And that makes the road harder. Okay, when we fight against it, we create more of it, we give it strength. Where we focus our thought is what is going to grow. So focus your thoughts rather on sayonara, but focus your thoughts on, I'm welcoming a fresh start. I'm welcoming new guidance. I'm welcoming a new year. I'm welcoming a new month, a new moon cycle. I'm welcoming whatever it is that the universe wants to share with me and bring to me in this year. Now, I want to say that it is not enough, or the universe is very specific. So if you are going to go to the universe and just go, bring me whatever, then you know what you're going to get? A whole lot of nothing, because the universe is very specific. So at the same time that we don't want to be affirming how crappy 2020 was, we want to look for those blessings and thank the universe for those blessings. At the same time, we want to go forward in 2021 and say, bring me, I want to manifest this, I want to create this, I want to experience that. Be specific. Because if you just say to the universe, bring me whatever you feel like I think I need, well, you might need, a car accident that takes you out of commission for 6 weeks, because that would maybe the cosmic bitch slap that you need to get you to refocus to, get you to see the thing the universe is trying to get you to see. So please be specific in affirming the positives. And I'm a huge, huge believer of affirm it like you have it. Okay. Affirm it like you have it. So I don't want to give energy to the negative and crappy things that happen, the big pile of horse poo, because I'm trusting the universe that there's going to be a pony around there somewhere. That horse poo didn't just show up on its own. At the same time, I want to say, I would like, with my pony, I would like enough money to pay for the hay and a safe place to keep the pony. And so you have to ask the universe for what you need. But beyond that, to spend a minute and be like, ooh, I'm getting a pony, and it's going to have enough money to me to buy the hay and a safe place for me to keep it. And I'm going to get to ride that pony, and oh, that is going to be so exciting. And you fill yourself with the joy of already receiving it. That's the language of the universe. That is the language that the universe understands. Because when we just go like, no, I don't want that, we are affirming having more of it. So the universe doesn't understand I want, I don't want. The universe understands where you're putting your attention, and the universe understands what your emotional, energetic impact has around that. So remember, if you've been hanging out with me a while, remember we've talked before about unspooling your DNA. Someday I'm getting me a slinky to put on this desk. Unspooling your DNA. So imagine that you have a slinky, and you have your DNA looks like that, right? The twisted helix. I have a picture. This picture sits on my desk. I don't know if you can really even see it. This picture sits on my desk. My husband made this picture for me years ago, but it is the double helix of the twisted ladder of your DNA spool. And this one he made for me in like Photoshop or something. And the pink and the green butterflies are, the pink was new people coming into my circle, whether they were Mary Kay customers, where they were psychic medium people, they were mentors, they were friends, just blessings coming into my circle. The green butterflies are the money that was going to come and bless me as well, bless my family. And the white things flying away, the white butterflies flying away, those were things like debts, toxic relationships, anything that no longer served me. They were in white because I wished them well. And if you've heard me talk, I love them over there. Over there. They don't need to be here. Okay, so this was a picture. This is a picture that sits on my desk. I love this picture. I have this actually posted in several places around my house because I love this picture and it reminds me always of the things that are important to me. But when you are working with your energy, your emotions, because love, right? Love is the most powerful energy of the universe. So when you have your DNA and you are focusing on 2020 sucked, that is just, you take your DNA and you smush it back up like a slinky, a closed slinky. But when you get into that part where you're like, oh, I'm getting me a pony and it's going to have a barn and a saddle and a hay and the money because ponies are expensive and I am so excited I'm getting a pony, your DNA pops open, it stretches open and it elongates so you have more surface area to send that energy out into the universe. And the more you can have that surface area to send that energy out into the universe, the stronger your signal is. Do you ever notice that the dish on your roof, if you have a satellite system on your roof or like dish TV or whatever, your satellite dish is like this big. But if you go out to SETI, the Search for Intelligent Extraterrestrial Life in New Mexico, their satellite dishes are like, okay, I've been there. There's actually a picture. I have pictures of it on my bulletin board. I've been there to SETI. It's amazing. And the thing of those satellite dishes, you could park over a dozen 18-wheeler tractor trailer trucks inside those dishes. They're freaking huge. You know why? Because they've got to get all the way out there to the farthest parts of the universe. They need a stronger signal. But they can't get all the way out to the Hubble and the CET and all of that with these dinky little satellite dishes we would put on the roof of our house. We have to do the same thing. We have to elongate our DNA, unspool the DNA, so that we can get our energy, our radio signal out there to the farthest reaches of the universe where the blessings come, where those cogs of the universe can start turning to bring us back the things we've asked for. But when you are focused on that sucked DNA, when you are focused on the blessing and bring me my pony and how awesome it is going to be when your pony comes, you are unspooling the DNA, and that is where the power is. And this is why we talk about love or above, that the energy of love is the engine of the universe. The energy of love is how we move things forward, and where you put your energy is what will grow. And it's important that we are putting our energy in an aspect of love. Yes, 2020 sucked. Yes, 2021 is not going to be sunshines and lollipops. However, there were blessings in 2020. Embrace them. There will be blessings in 2021. Expect them. Wait for them. Encourage them. Welcome them. Tell the universe what it is that you need. But as you are moving forward and you are setting your New Year's resolutions and you are taking off the coat of 2020, be careful that you're not stomping it on the floor and setting it on fire, because that is affirming the dumpster fire that 2020 might have been for you. We want to affirm the blessings and the transformation of 2020 so that we can move from that place in love and manifest the new things, the next things that we are choosing to create and excited to welcome into our lives in 2021. I want to come back to this word patience, because as people were casting off that code of 2020, what I was seeing happening and hearing from so many people was like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this in 2021. 2021 is gonna be my year. And that's awesome. Do not get me wrong, that is awesome. However, as you are moving forward that way, and as you are manifesting and creating your wish list of what you want to create in 2021, make sure that you're not doing it to spite 2020. Make sure that you are not doing it to spite somebody else. And make sure that you're focusing on coming at that list from the place of love. These were the blessings that came to me in 2020. And I got to tell you, the list for me, the list is long. The list is long of the things that came to me in 2020. Even some of the things, again, that looked like they were a shitstorm when they first landed on my lap, that turned into blessings. And so if you haven't been on my Facebook page today, I really encourage you to scroll down a little bit. If you're my Instagram friends, come on and join me on the Facebook page just to see this story that I couldn't share on Instagram, too many characters. But the story was Thich Nhat Hanh relating this story to the Dalai Lama. Now it comes out of a book, The Dalai Lama's Cat. It is a novel, so I cannot verify whether Thich Nhat Hanh and the Dalai Lama, His Holiness, had this conversation, but it's a lovely story about the farmer who loses his horse and gets 2 more horses, and his son hurts his leg and then doesn't have to go to war. And it's just a really lovely story that affirms what we may first receive as a tragedy can so easily become a blessing if we will allow the universe to continue developing things for us. But we also need to do our part, which is, because the farmer in the story continues to say, we'll see. He doesn't feed into the energy of, oh my God, that sucks, or oh my God, that's amazing. He just expects that the universe has his back, and he trusts the universe to allow that unfoldment. Okay, so as you are going, and he's putting out to the universe what he needs, what he wants, and so as you're going forward, put those things out to the universe. Do it with love. And instead of creating an ambitious list of resolutions and goals and things you're going to manifest for 2021 for, that is a mile long, get quiet, get into your heart, and allow for these things to develop. What do I most need in my heart to create a happy, healthy, and abundant experience for my 2021 or even my January? Because here's the thing, when we create this idea for the whole year, it's very easy to get derailed. But when you have this idea for the year of what you would like to accomplish in 2021, and I am not saying don't do it, I'm saying do it, okay? Just have your motivation and your energy in the right place. As you're doing it, break that down into 12 goals. What would I like to manifest or create or need to experience or do or have or whatever in each month to be able to really create what you're looking for by the end of 2021. And then break that down even further into days and weeks. Because here's what happens. If you can string enough good days together where you're keeping your DNA unspooled and you're operating from love or above, and you're moving yourself forward with love and gratitude, you will string more weeks together that feel that way and feel filled with love and motivated by love. You will string more months together that way, and then you get to the end of 21 and go, wow, maybe I didn't get everything or exactly what was on my list that I made back in January of 2021, but in December of 2021 I can see that it was a pretty great year and I got a whole lot of stuff accomplished and created and manifested. And it was really wonderful, because it can pretty much guarantee you that whatever you put on your list today on January 4th of 2021 is not going to look like, when it arrives in your lap, it's not going to look like what you wrote down, because the universe, A, has a sense of humor, and B, is very specific. So remember, as you are putting these things out, you want to make sure that you are coming from that place of love and coming from a place of what do I need, what it would serve my highest and best purpose, and what can I create going forward into the new year? What is going to make my heart happy, and what is going to make my ability to connect with my community happy? Where can I bless my community? Because once we have our needs met, we turn that and we start to look outwards and say, okay, how can I meet the needs of others, right? So again, not coming from manifesting out of a place of anger and rage and relief of being out of 2020, but coming into 21 welcoming new blessings, new gifts, okay? Because we're now at, if you do numerology at all, which I do a little bit, so you have the 2021, it's a 5 number, which is a prime number, so anything is possible. It is a building block number, okay? So in 2021, we have the ability to truly create whatever it is that we'd like to have in our life, but again, to come from the place of love. Okay. So that was very important for me to tell you because they've been having that in my ears all morning long. And they're like, hurry up, get to 4:30, let's talk. I'm like, okay, let's go. Because, they have no sense of time. So let's look at the energies that are guiding us this week as we welcome in this first week of 2021. I hope wherever you are in the world that you had a wonderful holiday season, whatever holiday you were celebrating, and that you had a great, safe, exciting, fun, socially distanced, responsible New Year's celebration. Here we had wonderful neighbors with fireworks that were celebrating 8:45, 9:15. we had a lovely time with our new fire pit. We had a great evening and enjoyed seeing all the fireworks in the neighborhood. We've got a lot of neighbors who get very involved in that. So very much fun. All right, so the winner is, all right, so in our Oracle of the Seven Energies, we have, this is going to be in our solar plexus chakra, exposed and revealed. So this is really about the truest parts of ourselves, which I love this because this is really, so this is really the truest parts of ourselves of what do I really want? What do we, thank you, Sharona. What a cool name. Where do we really want? So when we get into our solar plexus chakra, this is really all about how we see ourselves. The solar plexus chakra is so much about self-esteem, self-worth, how we value ourselves, where we see ourselves, really digging in. This card is really asking us to dig in to our solar plexus chakra and really digging into how we see ourselves so that as we are creating what that list and that energy behind the list of what we want to manifest and what we want to create in this current new 2021 year, we are coming from a place of authenticity. We're coming from a place of really true to ourselves. And that's what this is about, being exposed and revealed, really looking down deep into ourselves and really pulling up the truth of who we are and what we want and where we want to go in this new year. All right, well, I love that. I love that. All right, so I did remember my glasses today. So they are on my head, which is important for me to say because sometimes I forget where I put them when they are on my head. So I know some of you can probably relate. So let's see. I always ask, I love using the different decks. I always like to see which of the goddesses are going to be guiding us this week, which of our goddesses are going to guide us this week with their wisdom and their strength. And so this week in our Goddess Power Oracle, we have the goddess of, we have Mother Mary, the goddess of miracles. No big surprise. Okay, I love this. It's perfectly timed. This is the reason why I let them channel information through me before I bring in cards, because I want to share with you whatever it is that they want to share with me, for me to share with you. And then you hear me shuffling the cards right here on the live. You hear me, they're not pre-shuffled. I always think I should pre-shuffle because then it would save us some time, but I never feel comfortable with that because I want you to hear me or see me shuffling the cards so that you know that I am not pre-pulling these cards. They're being pulled right as we're working together, because the cards are so amazing in how they will pull exactly the card that supports what information they've just given me to share with you. And so I love this, that here we have Mary, the creator of miracles. Okay, so I love this because this comes back into our first card, exposed and revealed, that if you are working from your truest self, if you're really working from your heart and you are working from the place of love into the universe rather than desperation, anger, frustration, or need or lack, you're working from love. We have so much more power to tap into her energy, and she's reminding us to stay in that place of love and stay in the belief of miracles. When we open our DNA, we unspool that DNA, and if you missed that part, you're going to have to watch the replay. But when we unspool our DNA, we welcome in that power of love. We have so much more strength to get our message out to the universe. And she is the one who works from love. She's one of the ones who works from love. And the stronger we can operate from that place of love or above, I love that Christy Marie Sheldon talks about love or above, and that vibration is truly the most powerful force in the universe. So we can make miracles when we can make miracles when we really dig into our solar plexus, into the truth of who we are and the truth of what we want. Okay, when we are really connecting with our inner guidance, our soul, our higher mind, our heart, really getting down into that solar plexus and really touching into that place of who we really are and what we're here to do. Okay, so then you just can't make this stuff up. So here's the first card. This is from Rebecca Campbell's Work Your Light Oracle deck. I love this. Is truly one of my favorite decks to use, is Rebecca Campbell's Work Your Light Oracle. And so the first card comes up, and of course it says align your life. Whatever is not aligned or what is not aligned and needs to change. So of course we have to align our life, which goes exactly right back to the exposed and revealed card. Okay, so these things work perfectly together. To remember that the whole purpose of 2020 was this transition to shift us, to move us out of a place, to move people away from us, to shift our priorities. Now, not everybody got the message, because that's just not how it works. It would be great if everybody could be like, la, okay, one unifying moment, but we haven't had that, and that's not going to happen unless the aliens actually land on the planet. So we have the opportunity in 2020 to really wake up and shift and have this transitional time and look at our lives in a different way and from a different perspective. And a whole lot of people did. A whole lot of people got the memo, and a whole lot of people saw what was going on a higher plane. And a whole lot of people said, yeah, I need to reevaluate some stuff here. And so this is the sign. This is the time. If you are not done, don't worry. Keep going, because none of this is a race, a sprint, or a quick trip. This is a marathon. This life is a marathon, and it is the journey that counts when you are aligning your life from the place of love or above. This is not to say that heavy stuff's not going to happen, or that the shit's not going to hit the fan. It is. But when you are operating from the place of love and you trust that the universe has your back, those things can flow more smoothly into and out of your life. So in the story that I shared on my Facebook page today, the Japanese farmer, the horse ran away, but it ran out into the wild, and he was very happy because it came back with 2 friends. And so now he had 3 horses. And his son, while he was working with the horse to break it in and to teach it to be domesticated, he broke his leg. Oh my gosh, my son broke his leg. That's so terrible. Except then when the emperor was going to conscript the soldiers to bring up an army, they said, nope, not you, you got a broken leg. Okay, so allow things to develop, allow things to percolate. It doesn't mean that negative stuff isn't going to happen. We're always going to have the black and the white. And we talked about this on another video about how we need the darkness, especially right now in the United States. We are seeing a lot of darkness and a lot of frustration, and just people are just over it. And some people are definitely not over it. But we come into this evolution. They just took that thought away from me, because apparently we were not going in the right direction. Okay, because that thought just went shoot, and my mind went completely blank. Okay, so we have the aligning of our life. We have the ability to operate from the place of love. So even when negative things are going to happen, because they will, we need, thank you. Okay, reframing. Okay, I hear you. Okay, so we need the darkness. We need negative things. We need dark things to help us stay balanced and to help us to stay in the place of gratitude. Thank you. I hear you. If we never had the big pile of horse poo, we would not appreciate the pony. If the shit didn't hit the fan, we would not appreciate when somebody turns the fan off. Okay. We have to have the dark with the light in order to keep us balanced and aligned. It would be very hard to it would be very easy to balance on the edge of a cliff. If it was all space in the world over here, you would just put your other foot down. But when you're on a tightrope and there's no room for error on both sides, then we have to really focus on what we're doing. Okay, so having a world without darkness, even a little bit, okay, helps us forget and helps us not appreciate the things that we have. We lose the importance of gratitude if everything is easy. We lose the importance of that love, the power of it, if everything is just sunshine and lollipops. We have to have some hiccups in order to appreciate. What is it they say? You have to have the rain in order to appreciate the flowers? Something like that. Okay. Okay. So our last card is transformation. It says things are changing at the cellular level for deep healing. Okay, and so this again fits right into what we have been talking about. And so we have this wonderful opportunity to embrace the change, embrace the change. And so much of 2020 was people going, nah, I don't want to change. I don't want to wear a mask. I don't want to give up my freedom. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. And everybody resisting. And then we had people that started to understand, okay, this is where we are. This is what we need to do. This is how we're going to move forward. And things start to shift a little bit. Okay, so as we continue to go forward, because 2020 was the great cosmic bitch slap for humanity. And so now we're going to hopefully go forward into a more positive way. But the way that we do that, okay, people are like, oh, what do you see for humanity in 20? I'm like, you know what, there's a whole lot of free will going on in there. But what I will tell you is we're not done. And I will tell you there's still going to be bumps and there's still going to be clashes that are going to have important impact. But I will also tell you that so much of what will affect you personally on a day-to-day basis is working from the place of your love and gratitude, your energy, controlling your energy. Because when we control our stuff, we insulate ourselves from all the stuff that's going on around us. We stay in that place of love and gratitude. We work from that place of love and gratitude. How can I make the world better for others? How can I make the world better for me? How can I treat people with more loving kindness? How can I? When we work from that place, we help others see the transformation and want to be part of it. So we are reminded to work from the solar plexus of the truth of who you really are and of what you are here to do and what you came here, what you would like to manifest in the newest year, so that you are working from that place of the truest identification of yourself in that solar plexus, and that you are reminded that Mary is with us, the creator of miracles. Mary is the one who will be guiding us and keeping her hand on us, at least this week, as we continue to formulate what we would like to manifest in the 2021 year. But remember to come from a place of, whew, that's over. I learned a lot. What can I create? What can I welcome? Here's what I'd like to create and welcome into 2021. Here's what I'd like to create and welcome in January. It doesn't have to be a whole year thing. You don't have to map out the whole year. You can work for just January and say, this is what I'd like to create in January. This is what I'd like to create this week. Okay, it doesn't have to be. I like working on the moon cycle so that you have that full moon. It was for the time of releasing and the higher energy, and then the energy comes back down to the new moon. And the new moon, everything is fresh and clean, a new slate. And so we'll have that in just another week or so. So it's a good time to get focused if you haven't already, and be thinking about what is it that I want to create for myself and welcome into my life from a place of love, not in a place of, thank God that's over, in a place of love, okay? And so as we go forward, we are being encouraged to get our ducks in a row, get stuff sorted, okay? Align your life. This is the time so that when new moon comes, we're ready to say, okay, universe, this is what I want. This is where I am. I have shed all of that stuff. I am ready, because it is absolutely the time of transformation. This is absolutely the time of transformation. And this time of transformation that began in 2020, it's been percolating and percolating, percolating. It really began so far before 2020 was really so much further back. But people were finally getting the message, because they weren't getting the message up until that point. So humanity got the cosmic bitch slap, right? Because the universe will go, hello. Hello, 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 is anybody in there? And then we still don't pay attention. Whack, cosmic pitch slap. And so we've seen that for humanity, because the universe has been trying to shift us. We can't shift everyone, okay? We can't shift everyone. Seriously, unless Will Smith and the big spaceship comes out of the sky on Independence Day, we are not going to shift the entire planet all at the same time. So the best thing that we can do is shift ourselves, staying in that place of love and gratitude, and creating from that energy, keeping our DNA unspooled and creating from that energy. Because when we do that, we get our ripples on the pond, and we bump all into each other, and everybody's ripples get better, and it's the whole pay it forward. So today I was on the phone with somebody from some company, and the guy was so sweet, and we were having a lovely chat. Even though I was canceling my account, we still had a lovely chat. And he said, you've been the nicest person I spoke to all day. I said, well, I think that's great. Thank you so much. And I hope that the rest of your day goes, beautifully. And so we get that energy on each other. We cavitate, right? Like the ripples on the water, and we cavitate off of each other. So let's cavitate in a good way. Let's cavitate in a way of love and above, because that's how we shift. That's how we take another person with us. We take another person with us, okay? Because that's where we can really change humanity, is by including and welcoming and taking others with us along the way. All right, so we have a couple minutes left. I don't have as many minutes today, but we have a couple minutes left. So if there's any questions, I will gladly answer them for you to the best of my ability. I know we don't have a huge amount of time today, but I want to say thank you for the people who are here for the first time. I see some new names. Thank you so much for joining us. And as who pointed out, who is so astute, Victoria pointed out, we are at 777 followers on my Facebook page, which is very exciting. And yes, that is a very fortuitous number, so that we have sure, oh Ursula, I love that, that we have the so that we have being shown that we're on the right track. We're being shown that we're moving in the right direction. Oh my God, this is hilarious, because a card literally just fell off the card deck right like I'm sitting here. So yes, that jumper will be yours, Ursula. So 777. While I want to keep going, we want to get to 800, because when we get to 800, we're going to give away another free reading. But I love that, because those numbers, those angel numbers, they tell us that they're watching. They tell us that they're with us. They tell us we're on the right track. 777, we're going in the right direction. So all of you, thank you so much for being part of my community of light. If you like this video, please share me with your friends. Share my Facebook, share my Instagram, share my YouTube. My link tree is on there. Robin probably posted it already. Please share me with your friends, and let's welcome more people into our community of light. So thank you, Doris. Thank you. Okay, so Ursula asked me, I have a jumper, and she's smart enough to know jumpers are the cards that fall out of the deck, and I want to show you. It's literally, the deck is sitting here. You can see it's sitting into the box. It's not up. And as Ursula said, can I have a jumper? And I said, yes, of course. And this card literally slid off the box. I don't know exactly how it did that. Slid off the box and out onto my laptop. And so this is the card Bronwyn, the goddess Bronwyn, and it says forgiveness. So let's see what she's got to say, because with the goddesses opened literally right to her page. So she definitely wants to talk with you today, Ursula. So Bronwyn says, sometimes life invites us into conditions that challenge us to the core. As the Celtic goddess Bronwyn forgave those who caused her own death by a broken heart, she asks you to set yourself free from the seeds of resentment that will surely choke the life out of your dreams. We are wounded by others and weave stories about our hurts and losses that live on in our hearts and mind. Now, no matter what your story is or when it began, forgiveness is the key to freedom. Forgiveness allows for the mending and repair and the opening of the heart to give and receive. So I have to ask you, and you don't have to tell, but what do you need to forgive? Who do you need to forgive as you are moving into this 2021 year? And so, Ursula, here you have your message. And I love that this aligns perfectly, of course, with everything else that we've been talking about, because, we're talking about forgiveness. We're talking about coming out of 2020, not from a place of like, we're talking about coming out of 2020 from a place of love and gratitude. Even if it was, a shit year for you, to come out of 2020 looking for the blessings, allowing forgiveness for whatever it was that happened to you, and coming out of 2020 with an aspect of love and gratitude, because for whatever it was that happened, there are blessings in it. There are always blessings in it if we're willing to allow them to develop and we're willing to allow ourselves to see them. So I am not ever, a card reader that's like, oh, doom and gloom is coming, because I truly believe that the way the universe works is from the level of love, and that the universe is always working to help us be more filled with love, and that everything that happens, even the pile of horse poo, is coming to bless us in the end. So I really try, and when I read the cards, and every reader is going to come with their own filter, but I really try and come from that perspective. So Victoria says she's feeling darkened down, and she's also trying to uncover ancestral trauma that's manifesting in you. Any messages on that? Oh, Ursula. you know what, our loved ones, Victoria, I'm coming back, I promise. Ursula, I want to say to you that whatever your issues are with him, understand that in the other realm, now that he's on the other side, he can be an ally with you if you choose to create that relationship with him. You may not choose to, and that is totally okay, but understand that he comes from a higher place of understanding the things that we forget, the things that we come here and we're human and then we forget. And so you, if you have still unresolved feelings for him and he has passed to the world of spirit, this would be a great time for you to try and resolve that relationship, and at least just resolve your feelings in your heart. Understand that, let me say this, I know that it doesn't make things easier, but when we understand that before our parents were born, we all had a meeting up in the astral and we said, I'm going to come to earth as this person, I'm going to come to the earth as this person. So my parents came to the earth and said they were going to come and be the parents for me and my sister. That was a soul pact, a soul contract that we all made before my parents were even born. We're going to come to the earth and we're going to meet and we're going to be the parents of these two people. And so they came, and for whatever the blessings and curses and the fights, because my mom and I, we went around when I was growing up. And so even for all those things, we agreed before my mother was even born that I was going to come here and be her daughter, and that we were going to have those fights, and we were going to fight those battles, and we were going to learn all the things we needed to learn from all of that. And when I stop and I think about it that way, the amount of love that it took for my mother to stand in the gaps for me when I was a teenager and a holy terror, that is a woman who loves the shit out of me. That is a woman, that is a soul who made a commitment to me, to love me to bits, to help me come here and have the experiences that I needed to have. That took so much strength and courage for her to come here and be a challenging person in my life. And it took so much love and strength and courage for me as the soul to come here and say, I am going to challenge the crap out of you. So I'm so happy to say that my mother and I are in a great place now, but boy in the day, okay? Ursula, let's talk about this a little bit more. Let's set up a time, you and I, to talk about this, because you know, and I know you've been following me for a while, so you know that I had lost my twin this time last year, right before Christmas, and we just passed his 1-year passing anniversary, and his birthday is the next day from my birthday, and all of those things. And this year has been an incredibly difficult time for me to process the loss of that person in my life, and have been on that journey and coming to a place of a new communication. And I think maybe that's something that we'll talk about. Maybe we'll talk about that in another video. But Ursula, why don't you shoot me a message and we'll talk about that a little bit, because our loved ones are not, they're not here like here, but they're not gone either. And we can choose what kind of a relationship that we want to have with them from the other side. And I was pissed at him for a long time, and I'm still not done completely being pissed off that he, you know, did some of the things he did and that he left, and there's a lot of emotions that go with that. But at the same time, to be able to come to a new definition of the relationship and to welcome him into my life in a place of love, and to establish a place of communication where we can continue to cultivate a friendship, cultivate that relationship, cultivate that communication, and continue to be connected in the love that we had for each other, even though he's not in a physical way. And there's definitely aspects of that that are incredibly frustrating, but there are also aspects of that that really have alleviated a certain level of the grief and frustration and anger involved in his passing. And so if you are someone who is suffering the grief of that and anger at your person passing, then please don't hesitate to reach out to me, because this has really been a fascinating experience in rebuilding a relationship with my twin in a very different way. We know our loved ones are not gone. We know they're not, because otherwise you wouldn't be here talking to me. We know our loved ones are still in spirit around us, and it is about our ability, because it's an ability, it is not a gift, And it is our ability to foster a relationship with them that mirrors what we had when we were alive, when they were alive, that allows us to communicate with them in a different way, but to still be able to cultivate that relationship. So it would be my honor completely to talk with anybody in that who needs that information. Okay, so let me go back to Victoria, my friend Victoria, who is trying to understand some ancestral trauma. So it sounds like Victoria, like me, may need to do a little bit of work in the Akashic records. And again, that's something I would be very honored to help you with. But I would encourage you, Victoria, I'm being guided to talk to you about a dream journal. I feel like they're trying to give you information in dreams. I feel like maybe you're not putting the pieces together with that. So often when we have things in our dreams, we don't write it down right when we first wake up. We don't remember. And if you write it down, even if it doesn't make sense, because when I write this stuff down in the morning, it never makes sense to me. But in the process of writing it down, it starts to be clear. Or even a couple of days later, when I'm writing down something else that happened, I'm like, oh, that actually relates back to that other thing. So we need to start collecting that information. So Victoria, I feel very called to guide you about a dream journal. Either just grab a notepad that you can put next to your bed so that when you first wake up in the morning, you can write it down. Or I will often use the recording app on my phone where I can record and just pick up my phone and be like, I dreamt about this. Because you know when you're half awake, and I'll just grab my phone and be like, I dreamt about this and this and this and this and this. And then later I can transcribe it and just like listen to it, remember what I had, write it down, and then have it in my dream journal. Because you got to write it down. Okay, but I think that makes a huge difference, and so hopefully that helps you, because Victoria, I don't feel like there's something that's on you. I don't feel like there's like, you know, a cord attachment or something that's like, I don't feel like there's like an entity attached with you, but I do feel like they're trying to get you to see something. I feel like this is part of your awakening. I feel like it's part of you understanding a new understanding of yourself and a different way to see yourself. And I feel like that also they're telling me that you tend to take on too much, like you're taking on the responsibilities that are not really yours. And so they're asking for you to look at that you're taking on things that don't really belong to you. You're taking on responsibilities and obligations and kind of putting that burden on yourself that you feel like you're supposed to, but you don't have to. So I would encourage you to ask yourself the 3 questions. And if you've been following me for any kind of time, you've probably heard me talk about this. Is this mine? Do I have the power to fix it? Did anybody ask me to fix it? Okay, so we'll leave it with that for today. Destiny, thank you so much. So here we are moving towards our 800 followers on Facebook. We've got over 1,000 on Instagram, which is amazing. We will make an announcement for an Instagram level up as well, where we can do a free reading for Instagram. I would be so delighted to do that again when we Ibrahim, get off my page because you are not welcome here. And so we will say goodbye for now because we've got a spammer, and anybody that tells you to please inbox them for a personal message is a spammer, and they are not welcome on our page and they're not part of our community. So Ibrahim Yusuf, goodbye. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Thank you for sharing my videos. Thanks for sharing the pages. Love you.